So hi, Rochelle.
Hi.
We've been talking a lot about the anxiety that you've been feeling recently, and more specifically about your nail biting. And you mentioned that you wanted to stop. Is that still something you've been thinking about, wanting to work on?
Yeah. I did our homework assignment and was trying to be more mindful of when I was biting my nails or when I am biting my nails. And I found that I already knew that I do it when I'm feeling more stressed out. I bite my nails a lot more frequently, but also I. What was the question?
I was just asking you about your nail biting and if that was something that's still been bothering you. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely have a hard time not biting my nails, even when I'm not stressed.
Yeah, so let's talk about that some more today. Can you give me a better idea of how your nail biting is affecting your life?
Well, I'm coming to get mental health treatment, so that's not great, and I don't know how to document this in my notes, so that might not be great, but I just want just my nails, just my nail biting. That's my only problem.
Okay.
But it's affecting my life because a lot of my friends know I have a problem with nail biting, and so they mess with me about it. My boyfriend does too. He messes with me about my nails, and obviously I'm a pre-med student, and I want to be a doctor. I'm going to school to be a doctor, and a lot of times I'll bite my nails to the point that I'll have open sores and infections and just really gross. And as a doctor, I don't want to be saying hi to my patients and they're kind of like, you have these open sores on your fingers, and you're my doctor.
Yeah.
And so that definitely evokes a lot of feeling of shame and just disgust with myself that I can't get over this habit.
Okay, so some shame and disgust, and sounds like this is really affecting multiple areas of your life. So it's affecting relationships with your boyfriend, your friends, also, wanting to be a pre-med student and wanting to be a doctor one of these days. You're worried about having those open sores on your hands. So a couple of different things there that it's doing in your life currently. So then what if you could magically just stop biting your nails? What if tomorrow you didn't bite them anymore? How might your life be different then?
It would be kind of great, to some extent at least, because then I won't have this problem, won't have all of this stress related to my future and who I want to be. So I won't have this additional stress, so that would be nice. It's almost like I'm stressed out, so I bite my nails, but then I have more stress, so maybe I'll have a stress that's more manageable.
Okay.
So I think that might be how it will affect my life.
So you'd be managing your stress better then. Okay. Because it sounds like you're telling me now is the nail biting is something that you're doing kind of to cope with the anxiety and the stress in your life.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a coping mechanism per se, because I do it even when I'm not stressed, so then obviously I don't think it would be a coping mechanism, but I use it to distract myself. It helps.
Okay.
It helps me distract myself even when I'm stressed, but also I like to do more than one thing at more than one thing at a time.
Okay.
So even when I was watching TV, I usually like to knit or I like to cut my nails. So.
Okay. So it's a distraction from the anxiety then, which could be a way to deal with the anxiety still.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
So what I'm hearing you say then is that this is sort of a goal that you've identified for yourself, that you want to stop biting your nails. Typically when we look at goals, those are pretty, specific type of things. There's an outcome associated with that. So in this case, that would be to quit biting your nails. And the outcome would be that you're not biting your nails anymore, and you don't have the sores and all those things happening. And I guess what I'm wondering might be helpful then, as we're talking about all of your anxiety and these things that are really bothering you, is if we could possibly just take a step back and look at the bigger picture. So looking at your life, what do you want to get out of life?
Well, I want to be a doctor so that I can help people.
Okay.
Helping people is really important to me, and I try to help my friends, my boyfriend, my family in any way that I can. That's really important to me.
Okay. So the helping people is something that you can kind of tell us in your life that you want to, that's something that's important to you.
Definitely.
Okay. Another way I think that we could try an exercise to kind of get in touch with what some of these values are and things that you want out of life would be to think about, and just go with me on this one for a minute. Think about if you were to die today and I asked, your mother or one of your good friends to write a eulogy for you. What would they say about you?
That's a good question. That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would say that I'm very hardworking.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm kind of like a chicken with my head cut off, but I have a method to my madness. So I think they would say that I'm really hardworking, but at the same time, sometimes I almost make myself anxious, but it serves me, so it's good. It's good anxiety. It helps me. But they would say I'm hardworking and sometimes anxious.
So they would talk about you being hardworking, but they would also talk about your anxiety. Okay. Okay, so now we've kind of looked at right now, if you were to die now. What about then, let's look at this a different way. Years from now, let's assume that you have lived a long and meaningful life and that you've been able to become the person that you ideally want to be. You've done the things that you want to do, and you have sort of developed the characteristics that you hope to have as a person in your life. Considering those things, what would your eulogy be like then?
I think it would say that I was a helper, that I helped people, that I prioritized in some instances the needs of others. That's really meaningful to me, that I do my best to help in any way or any situation that I can to the best of my ability. So that's something that's very, that I would like my family or friends to think about me.
Yeah.
If they were.
So it changed a little bit then.
Yeah.
From your first to your second eulogy.
Yeah. I guess I don't want to focus as much on myself or something like silly kind of biting my nails. I'd rather focus on other people and what I can do to use my life to best serve other people.
Yeah. So when you look at that, you're kind of seeing then the hard working, I think, is definitely a value of yours. But what I saw change in that eulogy was that there was a bigger focus on helping people. That that's something that I think we can identify then as really important in your life. That's a value that you want to be able to sort of structure the way you live around. Does that kind of sound like what you want to get?
Yeah, I definitely would say I would like to have that more of a guiding force rather than anxiety.
Okay. So can you see how that's kind of different from the goal of biting your nails would be something that is more immediate, or it's a goal to be obtained with an outcome. But this is something that we want to try to take a bigger picture look at your life and see what you really want to get out of that. And so as we're looking at this anxiety and this nail biting, we kind of mentioned before that the nail biting is something that you're doing to cope or just to deal with the anxiety. So understand that the anxiety may never go away, but if you want to get over here to be this helper, how can we learn to, accept some of this anxiety in light of what you really hope to attain? So I think that's kind of what we want to start looking at it at that way a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Looking at the bigger picture rather than just these sort of smaller goals. So thinking about that, let's talk a little bit more about what happens when you bite your nails, so that we can start thinking about how to deal with that better, so that we can get to this bigger life value of helping people.
Okay.
So whenever you're thinking about biting your nails, or it's about to happen, what are you thinking then? What kind of things are going through your mind?
I'm usually thinking about my endless to-do list. Everything that I have to do in the next 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
How's everything going to get done? Am I going to finish everything? What if I don't finish everything? Like, am I going to fail?
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean if I fail? I can't do this. Kind of stuff like that.
So you're telling yourself, I can't do this?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes, but most of the time when I tell myself I can't do this, then that just really provides me the stress I need to really
To get it
get
done.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So it really does help. So I don't want to just not experience any anxiety.
Okay.
Because it really serves me well.
Right. And so I think, that's part of what we're talking about here is that it's probably the anxiety won't go away completely,
Mm-hmm.
but we want to find a way to sort of to live with it and to be able to carry on a life that is more congruent with what
Mhm.
we, hope to achieve ultimately.
Okay.
And in your case, it would be that, helping people, being a doctor,
Mhm.
being able to serve people in that way. So you're having these thoughts. It sounds like they're kind of racing through your mind.
Mhm.
The things that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
What other things? What other things do you think?
Kind of like, am I ever going to be good enough? Am I ever going to not feel this way?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go to medical school, I can't be this way. So
Okay.
hopefully I can solve this problem.
So am I ever going to be this way? Or am I ever going to not be this way?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get over this?
Mhm.
Those are thoughts that are going through your mind. Okay. So I want to just take a few seconds and just notice that those are the kind of thoughts that you're thinking.
Which ones?
The ones that you're just telling me.
That I'm never going to be good enough.
Mm-hmm. And so
That's sucky.
so you have these thoughts that are going through your mind, but you also, I think, mentioned some emotions. What kind of emotions are you feeling when you're wanting to bite your nails?
Kind of overwhelmed like I do now. Just like, this is all just kind of too much sometimes.
Feels overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, feels like too much. What else?
Well, I feel pretty uncomfortable. I feel pretty stressed out. So that's
Are you feeling uncomfortable and stressed right now?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But, I mean, it makes sense. I only met with you one other time, and this is like a new kind of thing, so it makes sense.
This is new and it's a little bit uncomfortable. So let's take a minute to feel what that feels like when we're uncomfortable.
Oh.
Just notice, the thoughts that are going through your mind.
The thoughts that are going through my mind are when is this going to be over?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of almost want to think about what I'm going to do when I leave and how I'm not going to feel this way anymore.
Yeah. So those thoughts. What are the things that are happening in your body then?
My heart's kind of racing pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to sweat a little bit.
Okay.
My breathing is changing.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's helpful when I do something, so it's helpful that I'm moving my foot right now.
Yeah, so just pay attention to your foot then. Your foot moving.
Mm-hmm.
Think about your breathing, how that's changing. Feel your heart beating. And notice that you have your head down. So just notice all those things that are happening. The thoughts that are going through your mind. The feelings of being overwhelmed. The thoughts that you might never not be this way.
It's kind of like a wave that's coming over me.
Yeah.
It's about to knock me over any minute. Just waiting for it. That's why it's helpful to bite my nails.
Mm-hmm.
Helps me feel like I'm anchored in something.
So as you're feeling all those things, this is what I'd like for you to be able to do in the next week before we meet again. So when you start having these feelings that you want to bite your nails, that you're feeling really anxious, rather than biting your nails, let's let some of these emotions and these thoughts come in and take a minute to notice what's going through your mind. Identify those thoughts.
Okay.
Name those emotions that you're feeling, the way we did just now.
Okay.
We talked about what was happening, and let yourself just sit with that. Maybe longer than we are now. because
Longer?
We're in limited time now, but just take, a few minutes.
What if
to
it knocks
notice.
me off balance and I can't get all my work done? What if I can't handle all of it?
Well, what if you can't? Did you handle it now?
Yeah, but it's only for a little while.
Yeah, well, we can start with a little bit. So you've done this just now with me, sitting here, not biting your nails, but letting the feelings of being overwhelmed come in, letting these thoughts come in, coming and going, noticing all the things that are happening in your body. So that's what I'd like to encourage you to do in this next week, is to be able to sit with those things and to feel them coming in, and then just be present in that moment.
And this will help me with my nail biting?
Yeah, so what we want to do is start, you've mentioned before that you feel kind of out of control of some of these things that are happening in your life. So what we want to do is start to be in control of some of these moments. We want you to be the one that's driving this bus and not your anxiety.
Okay.
So you can start to recognize it,
To feel
start
like I don't
feeling
have to
it.
bite my nails, and maybe if I don't have to bite my nails, I can manage my stress in another way.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we want to start to feel some of the stress and anxiety, and then
Without
work
biting
towards
my nails.
not needing to bite your nails then.
That makes
So
sense.
that you can ultimately live this life where you can help people, where you feel like you're able to do the things that you want to be able to do with your life.
That makes sense.
How does that sound?
Uncomfortable.
Okay, do you think you can do it for the next week though?
Yeah, I will try.
Okay, we'll try it and then we'll talk about it some more next week.
All right.
All right, thanks, Rochelle.